see a bully a bully attacking somebody. The bully being Blake Lively and our powerful lawyers. And thank goodness Justin's got support to be able to fight back this time. Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got a big loss.
Kindest way that a judge can say to you that your lawyers are stupid. It's like very, he's like being nice here. He's like, your lawyers are really stupid.
Trust you, Blake. I do not trust you. You have lied too much. You have fudged truths. You are trying to hide so much information that you are like your character in a simple favor, and I can't unsee it. Is it not a little hypocritical? Is this a bad look of her if she's trying to tell the courts that we should stop talking about this in public?
Of course, meeting for the first time in court today. It was about a 90-minute hearing.
A stifling hush was said to have settled over the courtroom, one so claustrophobic it felt capable of draining the oxygen straight from bystanders' lungs. A murmur swept through those assembled, noting that even after decades of watching Tinseltown's most catastrophic meltdowns, few had braced themselves for the sight of the once-glistening Blake Lively tottering so precariously on the precipice of an epic collapse. It was reported that every withering glance from the bench exuded the sharp, disappointed scorn typically reserved for a petulant child in dire need of a timeout. Rumors circulated that the judge practically snapped. Dispense with the sob story, pack up the counterfeit anguish, and present legitimate facts. Evidently, compliance remained elusive, as indicated by the restless, almost panicked shifting observed in the defendant's seat. Discomfort seemed to ripple through the crowd, accompanied by uneasy coughs and darting eyes, suggesting that onlookers were unified in their secondhand embarrassment at witnessing a meticulously polished Hollywood facade disintegrate under the unrelenting frost of a single, merciless reprimand. Even the flickering overhead fluorescence appeared harsh and unforgiving, illuminating every beat of tension clinging to the air like a fog, as though the entire scene had been choreographed to underscore the precise moment when star power was rendered meaningless by the raw force of an exasperated judicial glare. In hushed corridor whispers, it was rumored that attempts had been made by everyone's favorite Gossip Girl star to muzzle Justin Baldoni's pugnacious attorney, Brian Friedman. According to these allegations, Friedman had been flaunting a veritable smorgasbord of evidence, purportedly featuring everything from incriminating screenshots and revealing phone records to previously unseen backstage footage. Each piece of documentation appeared poised to shred the already precarious narrative that Lively's team had been peddling.
I want to believe that execs at the very tippity top are being essentially threatened or bullied or coerced or extorted and by a couple like Ryan and Blake.
A narrative reliant on presenting her as an unjustly maligned victim. It was suggested that Lively, seemingly driven by mounting desperation, marched into the legal arena demanding that Friedman be silenced in order to stifle the cascade of damaging information. Those privy to the drama recounted how her pleas dripped with urgency, as though halting Friedman's disclosures was the only way to prevent irreparable harm to her carefully curated image. The judge, however, proved impervious to her entreaties, reportedly brushing them aside with the same dismissive flair that might be employed in rejecting a dreadful movie pitch.
Yeah, Blake Lively was the cruelest person I've ever worked with. She filed a fake Me Too and got caught, okay? Caught. A fake Me Too and got caught.
Such a reaction, though hardly shocking to courtroom regulars, triggered waves of astonishment among spectators who had banked on Lively's celebrity gravitas carrying more weight. Instead, she was left speechless, gazing around with the expression of someone who might have considered ducking beneath the defense table to hide from the palpable humiliation coursing through the room. Witnesses claimed an awkward hush ensued, punctuated only by the shifting of seats and the collective intake of breath. Friedman's so-called buffet of proof loomed ominously in the background, promising further revelations that would gnaw at the already battered facade Lively had labored to maintain. With every document Friedman brandished, rumors swirled that the so-called America's sweetheart image Lively enjoyed might crumble under the weight of tangible facts. Though known for her skill at navigating red carpets and wooing fans with breezy charm, she now seemed stranded in unfamiliar territory, unable to rely on her usual bag of tricks. Observers marveled that even a hint of contrition or humility might have salvaged a shred of goodwill, yet none was apparently forthcoming. Instead, the attempted silencing move only highlighted how dire her predicament truly was, while simultaneously underscoring Friedman's apparent determination to lay everything bare. In the aftermath of the judge's swift refusal, Lively's allies appeared to shrink back, perhaps fearing that association with her increasingly chaotic predicament might deliver more fallout than they could afford. Conversation in those courthouse corridors later revolved around one central theme. If such a heavy-handed request to muzzle opposition counsel had been so brazenly denied, what other desperate maneuvers might unfold as the case continued? And more importantly, how spectacularly would each attempt fail, now that the attorney in question was armed with a trove of evidence and an unshakable mandate to present it in full? A reminder soon surfaced of Baldoni's colossal $400 million lawsuit, a staggering figure that tends to send shivers through even the most financially assured luminaries. Yes, $400 million. The sheer enormity of such a claim was said to have ignited discussions in every corner of the courthouse, with many questioning how even a Hollywood power couple might scramble to cover that kind of liability if the judgment did not fall in their favor. Conversations behind the gilded doors of the lively Reynolds household might have grown increasingly tense. Some imaginative onlookers ventured that these alleged arguments revolved around the blame game, each partner presumably pointing a finger at the other for fueling a situation that ballooned into a sensational fiasco worthy of every tabloid's front page. Perhaps the plush living room, once the site of relaxed family gatherings, now served as the scene for whispered accusations and sleepless nights. The idea of "we're broke" headlines splashed across magazines seemed until recently almost unthinkable for this celebrated duo. Yet, in light of the eye-popping numbers attached to Baldoni's lawsuit, the unthinkable had suddenly become a topic of very real, and very heated, discussion. Yet the sky-high monetary stakes appeared to be only the tip of a much more menacing iceberg. Persistent whispers hinted at criminal consequences, an ominous possibility rarely brandished against Hollywood's privileged elite, much less someone who once sparkled in the public eye like Lively. The rumor mill latched onto terms such as fabricated evidence and perjury, fueling speculation that the looming outcome could be more akin to a sensational daytime drama than the legal scuffle of a beloved star. Some onlookers remarked that the mere mention of potential jail time seemed wildly at odds with Lively's meticulously crafted image, a fair-haired darling who once stood as a paragon of class and poise. Yet, given the gravity of these accusations, it was noted that her legal representatives were exhibiting the collective demeanor of cats perched on a scorching tin roof. These tense, restless movements implied that something more serious than mere tabloid fodder might be simmering underneath the polite facade. Possibility of prison, unthinkable for an adored celebrity just months prior, had become a very real topic of discussion. Defense teams were said to be working overtime, sifting through every scrap of documentation and testimony for anything that might neutralize claims of doctored evidence or outright deception in court. Meanwhile, curiosity only increased, with speculators asking one critical question: how would someone so firmly entrenched in the limelight navigate a system that shows little mercy for anyone found guilty of lying under oath or tampering with facts? The ever-churning rumor mill in Hollywood seemed incapable of keeping silent, with whispers suggesting that major film studios had started ghosting her more thoroughly than a one-hit wonder who bombed on live television. Executives once eager to emblazon her image on glossy posters and high-profile marketing campaigns had purportedly vanished into the woodwork, all too happy to dodge inquiries about her professional future. Allegedly, the dreaded prospect of a PR disaster loomed too large. By investing so much as a dime in a project linked to her growing scandal, some feared they would simply be inviting chaos onto their pristine sets. As one unnamed studio insider reportedly quipped, the concept of hiring her at this juncture amounted to lighting stacks of money on fire, an observation that, while drenched in Tinseltown melodrama, felt apt enough to confirm why so many powerful figures were now steering their production ships well clear of her turbulent wake. An abrupt shift in public perception materialized when the meticulously cultivated facade of Blake Lively as a fierce feminist trailblazer began to unravel under the slightest hint of scrutiny. Early accounts extolled her supposedly valiant efforts to stand up against a domineering male director, casting her in the sympathetic role of a champion for women's rights. However, new and more detailed reports started circulating, painting a far different picture of her conduct on set. According to these disclosures, Ms. Lively was the one hurling demands left and right, calling for unending script revisions, imposing last-minute character overhauls, and generally plunging production teams into disarray. Some observers likened her backstage behavior to that of a notoriously unhinged rock star, prone to theatrical tantrums and sudden shifts in temperament whenever her creative visions were challenged. Such revelations were allegedly fortified by Friedman's unyielding rollout of documentation, the so-called receipts that encompassed complete transcripts and official production logs. These materials, if accurate, threatened to eviscerate every carefully orchestrated claim of oppression leveled by Ms. Lively. The phrase, "fake it till you make it," lost much of its playful allure once the possibility of outright fabrication was raised in serious legal circles. Insiders hinted that a number of crucial pieces of evidence might have been edited or otherwise manipulated to bolster her initial stance, a strategy that now appeared to be unraveling at a dizzying pace. The resulting fallout not only challenged her previously unassailable status as a champion of progressive causes, but also illuminated the precarious balance of power behind Hollywood's polished veneer, where even the slightest fissure in a star's image can rapidly expand into a career-threatening fracture. An abrupt dissolution of Ms. Lively's formerly warm network of allies was widely reported, with insider gossip pointing to a particular flashpoint involving Ari Emanuel. Known for a near-oracular capacity to either skyrocket or obliterate acting careers, Emanuel was said to have jettisoned Baldoni from his roster at Lively's insistence. The fallout from that maneuver, if tattle in the industry is to be believed, emerged in the form of Baldoni's massive legal counterstrike. A blockbuster lawsuit that, once filed, threatened to drag hidden backroom dealings into the unforgiving spotlight of the courtroom. A series of alleged power moves and hushed agreements, which had long been considered par for the course in Hollywood's inner sanctum, suddenly faced exposure. The notion of secret handshake deals, an informal cornerstone of how business traditionally gets done behind Tinseltown's curtains, appeared on the brink of being laid bare. In turn, apprehension rippled through powerful agencies and production houses alike, as questions arose over who else might be implicated if Baldoni's revelations continued to surface unchecked. All of this turmoil has reportedly turned Ms. Lively into the epicenter of an unstoppable gossip cyclone. Producers are said to be avoiding her like a newly discovered supervirus, and directors, who once treated her like a guaranteed payday, are scribbling her name off prospective casting lists with urgency. PR strategists, known for charging small fortunes to spin negative press into sympathy points, are rumored to be re-evaluating their willingness to board her sinking ship. Hushed warnings have supposedly been issued to any collaborators still tempted. Involve yourselves at your own peril because this catastrophe might blow sky high. Tales of behind-the-scenes hysteria have also circulated, painting scenes of frantic calls at ungodly hours, terrified assistants creeping through Lively's home as though crossing a minefield, and an anxious Reynolds prowling around the yard. Such a spectacle sounds like bargain bin tabloid fodder, until consideration is given to the fact that reality in Tinseltown often outdoes any convoluted screenplay. And once a celebrity finds themselves neck-deep in legal calamities, a tsunami of harsh public opinion is guaranteed to follow. Speculation swelled that this PR meltdown could rank among the worst Hollywood has witnessed in recent memory. Lively, after all, had built a public persona on impeccable style, unimpeachable maternal bliss, and the ability to dazzle talk show hosts with effortless charm. Observers noted that seeing this meticulously curated facade crumble so spectacularly felt like rubbernecking a train derailment, horrifying yet impossible to ignore. Though whispers suggested that further bombshells were waiting in the wings, the ordeal already seemed destined to be etched in Tinseltown's annals of infamy. In the meantime, it has been rumored that the judge instructed Ms. Lively to muzzle her theatrics. However, rumors exhibit a life of their own in the glamorous realm of celebrity scandal, and they are likely to multiply and intensify as each new scrap of gossip is fed into the public consciousness. By all appearances, the fiasco is nowhere near its conclusion, and every fresh revelation is expected to add more fireworks. Those with a front row seat have been advised to remain alert, as even more salacious details threaten to burst forth, ensuring that the chaos continues unabated for the foreseeable future. And there you have it, folks. Hollywood's golden girl is teetering on the edge, her PR empire crumbling faster than a bad box office flop. Judges shutting her down, bombshell evidence piling up, and a lawsuit so massive it could shake the whole industry. Will Blake and Ryan claw their way out of this scandal, or is this the final act in their carefully curated fairy tale? Either way, the drama isn't over yet. Stay locked in because this mess is only getting juicier. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. See you in the next one.